evening, everybody. It's 5:30 on Dartmoor. It's still the usual camping spot, but it's a little bit blustery and windy this time. So in these conditions, obviously it would make most sense to bring the Trail Star or the Hillyberg or a hotel. I kind of couldn't resist bringing the Tarp again. I thought I'd just give it one more trial. My pegging system usually brings a smile or 20 to people's faces. I've got it rigged like a ship. maybe not the absolute best pitch, but we'll see how it goes. I've pitched the rear just up a little bit. It's not supposed to rain. If it does rain, well, we'll cross that bridge. But I put my pack underneath, so hopefully if it rains, the rain won't get to me. I've pitched the corners very low, so you know it wouldn't be that difficult to lower that back if I had to. I've pitched all sides pretty low, apart from the front here, and the same, Lassie, and the same over here. I've pitched that side quite low. The only area where I think rain could possibly get in is maybe in this corner here, but like I said, we'll see what happens. There isn't any rain forecast, so I probably won't be able to test this in the rain. I have somewhat turned it into a wind tunnel. That's the airbed actually. That's the airbed actually being blown like that. That's not. I haven't got it upright deliberately. So it is definitely a little bit drafty under here. I definitely wouldn't do this in the winter. I wouldn't be quite that brave. You could pitch the back, you know, a bit lower, but you would lose, I think, you know, quite a bit of usable space. So that's why I've pitched the back, you know, up a bit. Anyway, that sun is going down, so I better get the inside sorted out and see what it's like, and then if I do need to make any alterations, then I can. Okay, well, this is 6 o'clock inside the MLD Super Tarp. Just for the fun of it, I brought my boots this time. I just wanted to, you know, just something a bit different really, just to remind myself why I dislike boots so much. And funnily enough, I was walking, I've still got this wonky right foot, which is, apart from time, is one reason why I'm not walking so far at the moment. And I still managed to fall over wearing boots, and they're supposed to, so say, support ankles, which frankly I think's a load of but anyway, yeah, I was walking along just up here and something just under my foot, and I went down like a bloody sack of potatoes, just while there was no one around. But anyway, so yeah, I really don't think that if your foot is weak, your foot's weak, whatever you're wearing. Anyway, so that's the story of boots. This is inside the new MLD wind tunnel. So if Rolls-Royce or Pratt and Whitney or any of those want to come and test their engines, then they can come and do it in Tony Hobbs's makeshift wind tunnel. It's going to be very interesting to see what the night is like. To be honest, I'm just out of curiosity, I did measure the wind, not my wind. I did measure the wind outside just earlier, and it was showing as 17 miles per hour. I'm not quite sure if you can make that out, but there's a breeze there's a breeze coming through here of 8 miles per hour it went up to then, so we could be in for a drafty evening. But oh well, it's all fun and games, isn't it? I'm not exactly in any danger or anything like that, but that's certainly interesting. I'm certainly hoping that you can see this. So that's coming up to 8.4 miles per hour, that wind speed coming directly through here. I think if it was much colder, I'd have to lower that back, but we'll see what it's like. And like I said, if we don't try it, we'll not know. Okay, it was getting a bit too it was getting a bit too drafty inside for that experiment, so what I've done is it's a bit chilly, so I'm not going to stay out here long. I had this line here tied up here, so I've lowered it down to this point here, so I still got the back raised up a tiny bit. Now if it rains, it'll be impossible. I cannot see how rain will get in there, but there is obviously going to be still some airflow. But I pegged this one and that one to the ground, so you know, short of 6 inches, you know, the back is pretty much pegged right to the ground now. I'll leave the front as it is, and you know, hope that that has cut the wind out. Just looking through, things aren't blowing around in there quite so wildly. I've lost obviously a little bit of space to the left. Bizarrely, there's more space to the right, but that's probably a good thing because that gives Lassie a tiny bit of room. But that looks pretty secure actually now. So before I freeze my nuts off, I'm gonna duck back inside. Oh, and then there's the moon over there and a beautiful red sky. Oh god, it's bloody cold. Okay. Well, that's a good morning for my feet, and good morning from Lassie. It's just coming up to 9 o'clock. I think I was awake at about 8 o'clock or something like that. Let's try this. Oop. Hang on a minute. So this Super Tarp pitched like this. I've just got just enough headroom here. I pitched the pole on a little slope as well, so I'm kind of like down here, and there's this little mound of tussock here, and then I put the pole on its longer setting, so that helped give me a little bit of height as well. I'm just going to lie down a minute. So, actually, let's do that. So, pitching it like this, I was able to get, you know, some height to the front, which wouldn't have been quite so easy on flat ground, because I've got that little tussock which I put the pole in, which gave me an extra few inches, and every few inches counts. But as you can see, I've pitched the back, you know, very low. The weather improved dramatically last night. In fact, the wind died down, and it was a really very pleasant, in fact even warm evening. For a while when I was sort of eating, I had a fleece on and a down jacket, but I took both of those off before going to sleep. I kept my wind shirt on and my two, like, you know, base layers underneath, because I am quite a cool sleeper, but I was very, very comfortable. I could probably have even taken another layer off if I'd have thought of it, but that's okay. I was very comfortable. So, and on this occasion, I can't remember if I said last night or not, but on this occasion I didn't bring the bivvy with me. I didn't really see the need for it. I knew if I could get the back pitched low enough in this, which I did eventually, that, you know, wind coming through wasn't going to be too much of a problem. 'Cause when I pitched the Trail Star and Super Mid, you always get a bit of a draft with them as well. So I'm kind of like, you know, I'm kind of like used to the wind. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't bring the bivvy. With the shelter like this, you know, fully enclosed, it's so big that I knew rain would never, even if it did rain, I knew that rain would never ever get to me, only through the front. So that's why I actually brought this time, to give me more space and room, a double ground sheet, and I pitched it slightly to the left. Originally, when I first pitched it, I pitched it right in the middle, but then Lassie had no room for her bed, so I just moved it over to the left a little bit after a couple of minutes of fiddling last night. So that worked well. Of course, I put Lassie's bed down, and of course, as usual with Lassie, she didn't use it. She doesn't really like her bed so much. So she was half on mine and half on hers until this morning, and then she disappeared outside somewhere. I think even if I left her just outside all night, I think she'd be quite happy. But she had access to come and go and everything. So I need to have a bit of a tidy up here. So I've had a tea, and I'll make another tea in a minute, but I think the next thing to do is some porridge, have something to eat, and then, as I say, we'll start to just tidy up a little bit in here. I just just noticed that the ground sheet sort of, it starts up here, and then, of course, I wasn't over that side, so it didn't matter anyway, but over there it sort of disappears down a gully almost down there. So I think this spot here, you would get the Trail Star here, but I don't think you'd get the Super Mid here. It's just too rough. I don't think you get a good pitch here. But for a Tarp, this spot is absolutely perfect, and it's the same spot I use each time recently, because it's just handy. It really is quite warm enough this morning. It really is quite warm enough to show my legs off today. I know I often get complaints from people saying, we didn't see your legs this time. So there's a gratuitous leg shot for you. Because it really is, oh my beanie. It really is quite warm this morning with that sun coming through here. I've put the sleeping bag away and everything like that, and it's absolutely roasting in here at the moment. Mind you, it wasn't exactly freezing last night, but it was definitely parky. But it's yeah, warmed up now. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is have some porridge. We'll show you the porridge as we sort of scoot over the leg. So, well, it's just coming up to 10:30 in the morning, and I was just thinking one of the biggest changes to when I was camping in the very early days is in the early days I used to be up at like 7 or 8 and walking back to the car. I always had this sort of urge to head back first thing, which always seemed a bit ridiculous. So invariably I was leaving camp at 8 or 9 o'clock by myself, and as I say, it's coming up to 10:30 and I'm just slowly, steadily putting things away in a much more relaxed atmosphere, which is nice. I'll just quickly show you around camp again. As you can see, the weather is completely different. I mean, I'm in a t-shirt. I've just got a t-shirt on, and it's really warm in just a t-shirt. And I wore my boots because I really just wanted to. Just give boots another go, just for the sheer heck of it. But I have to say, it's a heck of a lot warmer than I was expecting. Far, far too warm for boots. I wouldn't have brought my sandals because it's October, but I have to say, at this moment in time, it is warm enough for sandals, and I could have. You could wear your shorts. It's crazy, you know. It's like middle of October, and I'm in a t-shirt, and I could easily have worn my shorts and sandals at this moment in time. Could change, of course. So it really is warm at the moment. So I probably won't be wearing my boots again for a little while, but as I say, on these short walks, to be honest, it's quite nice just having dry feet on these really short walks. The longer walks, I'd rather have wet feet and just be more comfortable in a lighter shoe. Anyway, I'll just very quickly again show you around camp. And well, I've put most things away. I've just got to empty the water out, my coat and other layer of clothing there I just don't need at the moment. It's just so warm. I've got a few spare pegs. I made sure I had extra pegs and extra line. And I have to say, this pitching configuration on this really did work well last night. In a way, it's a shame that it didn't stay windy or that it didn't rain. It would have been interesting to, but I most certainly would have kept very comfortable in there. There would have been a small draft in the back there, but not much. I've pitched it very low to the ground, and all sides I've pitched very low. The only place where I, as I say, pitched it a little bit higher is just the front two corners, and unless the rain or the wind, and then if it had a rain, did a 180, I'd never ever have got wet under there. I'll stop my thought processes there. So yeah, so oh god, my mind. So this is the like completely distracted myself now. So this tarp here, the super tarp, it comes with these loops on the top. So I always have this cord here set up through there, so that just helps keep the ridge line up as well. I don't think it's 100% needed, but I have to say I think it does help a little bit on this pure rectangle shape. And indeed it's this point down here, it's helped actually lift that part up, because if that wasn't there, then that part there would have, you know, would have dropped down. You would have lost a little bit of room inside. So I have to say, on this shape and this tarp, they were handy. And then the bungee cords, it looks a bit of a strange configuration, but the bungee cord lines I've just pulled out onto this upside down pole, and then just use one peg here. I was almost tempted to use a second peg, but I didn't think it was needed, and in the end I was proved right, it wasn't. I needed a line up there, because if I hadn't have had that, then the pole would have fallen, my pole would have fallen over. So it's a good job that I did bring an extra piece of line with me for that. But if I had have forgotten cord here, then I could have taken a line from over here. It's the beauty of having so many tie-outs on this. I tend to put cord on most of them, and of course you don't necessarily need it all. In this piece here I just never used all night, so that's just being loose. I never used that one. So if I had have forgotten that other cord, then I could have taken that piece there away easily and used that. I've pegged out two edges on this side. I didn't peg out the center point. I think I was just trying to get a tiny bit more height inside. Over here I pegged out the two on each side, but on this occasion I did just put a peg straight into the ground there, just to keep that tight to the ground, because the wind was coming pretty much in this direction. So this side, the back and this side here, was going to take most of the wind, so that's why I secured that side. And I have to say, I'm very pleased with this pitch. It did take a while to get this pitch. I'll have to remember this for another time. It did take it was a bit fiddly, because I've never done a configuration quite like this. So it was definitely on the fiddly side, and because it was quite windy, it was actually quite difficult to, you know, to get the ridge line up there, because the wind just kept blowing everything to the ground. But once it was good and solid, it was yeah, it held up all night. and the tarp. Okay, well, I better do a bit more packing up now, and I'll see where we are later on with a toodaloo, toodlepip. This is the end of another Tony Hobbs special. So I stop for 2 seconds and Lassie starts digging. I think all the holes around Dartmoor, I think, are caused by Lassie digging. Anyway, it's been a very, very enjoyable sort of day and a bit out. Really beautiful weather now, and I say, I've still got my t-shirt on. It is so warm for the middle of or latter part of October. It's the it's the 24th of October. I don't know where the time's going. Anyway, it's the end of October nearly, and it's really warm today. Anyway, we're very, very close to the car, so Lassie and I will wish you all very well, and we'll catch you again hopefully in November. I'll try and, my plan or my aim is to try and get out camping once a month, so I'll try and get out again in November. So anyway, I'm going to chivvy on. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and you know, thanks for watching and commenting, and I try to reply where I can. Apologies if I don't reply to everybody, but I do enjoy reading all the comments and everything like that, so you know, thanks for all the comments. They are appreciated. Catch you all again soon. Bye.